Mind Your Subconscious is the podcast that provides you with techniques and knowledge about your subconscious mind, the part of your brain that lets you control your ego and create an extraordinary reality with your thoughts. We invite meditation, hypnosis, NLP, EFT, and other experts to help you master the most powerful part of your brain. Your host is Jennifer Schlüter, who quit her job as managing editor of 22 newspapers to travel the world and work online just after one hypnosis session. A nomad ever since 2016, Jennifer is now a certified hypnotist and helps people transform their dreams into reality. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Mind Your Subconscious. This week we have with us Colin. He's an Onanya, or a shaman, as you would say, and a mutual friend of us introduced us to each other. And also with us on the podcast is Angela, Colin's assistant, and all of us discuss how plants work with the networking of the brain and how they connect to the subconscious and how you can heal problems from your past or present with the help of plants. We also discuss ayahuasca ceremonies, how to prepare yourself, and how they work. And now, let's get started with this week's episode. All right, so today we're here with Colin and his assistant Angela. And please introduce yourself, you guys.
Yes, my name is Colin Anthony Kuru. I'm originally from Guyana, South America. My spiritual name is Yawasoe Shurishanipa Sinkalip. And I am an Amerindian from South America, and I currently live in Atlanta, Georgia.
And my name is Angela Coons. I'm 26 years old. I am originally from Utah. And now I'm here in Atlanta mentoring and living the life.
What life is that right now?
Right now I am learning a lot about myself, a lot about just myself through the earth, as well as medicine work, and getting to kind of connect to so many different parts of myself that have kind of been lost for a long time. Getting to connect with my ancestors and my roots, as well as the work that is being done, and then we'll get to talk about.
All right, thank you guys so much for being here. I really look forward to this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And since this is a podcast about the subconscious, I want to ask you, what do plants have to do with the subconscious?
I would say having to do with the networking, the way that our minds, our brains carry information, the networking systems, how the neurons move and information that travels, and how they're kind of like bound to a place, bound to a story, or bound to information. Say a leaf to grow this big, and for this leaf to grow that size, and for it to have this pattern, and for that leaf to have that pattern, and for that boy to have that, and for that girl to have that. And so as far as like the information highway, the spiritual information highway, human beings and plants have always been connected since the beginning. And also we are made up of all of the alkaloids that are in many plants, right? Is part of our makeup. So we have a very family-like relationship with plants.
Okay, and how can you use plants to access your subconscious? How can they help you?
Well, it depends on what type of plant, I guess. Accessing your self-conscious is a very broad category. It's a very wide category. For what reason, and with what direction? Their plants can do lots to open up your subconscious and lead you to a really good place in your life, but also you must also be desiring to do so.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like plants can do a lot for you, but if you're not ready to do a lot, then you could be taken over by the energies of it because you're not really ready to do the work that comes with it.
Yeah, so can you maybe tell us what do you have to do to be ready for such like a plant ceremony, for example? Or let's take one example. Let's take ayahuasca as an example. What do you have to do to be ready?
To be ready, for me, preparing myself kind of comes into preparing myself on all levels. First off, kind of coming into this awareness as to why I'm about ready to go and sit with this medicine and what my prayer is, what my intention is behind it. Because I find that in a plant medicine journey, everything kind of interconnects or comes back to what it is that I'm creating, what it is that I'm calling in, and what it is that I'm looking to wake up within myself. And so, first off, I'll prepare my body by, through yoga, which also prepares the mind, and also just be paying attention to what kinds of things I'm taking in, whether it's through foods or the things that I'm watching, and the conversations that I'm a part of, just kind of clearing myself to create more of a open and clear channel, I guess, so I can have the experience, the most what's the right word, pure experience that I can have in order to receive the information or the messages or the downloads or whatever it is in the plant medicine experience itself.
Yeah, and then there in the different parts ways of dieting. There's specific things you would have to wean yourself off of to cleanse your vessel even more: sugar, salts, meats, pork, caffeine, sex, and all kind of stimulants, things like that. You would start to slowly stop using these things. And some of the things are challenging, like salt and everything, so you kind of have to just like really do your best to um, to stay as clean as possible. And nowadays all over the internet there's hundreds of like ayahuasca diets and things like this. So I tell people like it's easy now to like really do the research to prepare before you go to any ceremony. The most important thing is that it's you wherever you're going, it's safe, and there's enough of a when you get some information from like two or three or four or five people saying that it was good, then one person, okay, but get some more information. Do your research, make sure that it's something safe.
Yeah, absolutely. And how do you prepare mentally? What's the best way to prepare mentally?
Well, like Angela was saying, really do your best to stay out of drama, stay out of any kind of energy that's not harmonious. And then, when you decide to go to ceremony, your ceremony starts. And you're paying attention to all these different things that might come up. I tell people, don't tell anyone. Try not to tell a whole bunch of people you're going to ceremony. To do your best to kind of like set yourself into like a ceremonial space already by the decision, and then treat that decision and everything you do on there to that direction with as much respect as possible. Because it's there's some people, yeah, man, I'm going to ayahuasca ceremony, man, it's gonna be crazy. I don't know, man, who knows, and you may not realize that it's a prayer, and you may not realize it's a sacred hospital, and it's a sacred space, but at the same time, you may not even understand what sacred means yet. So that part is also, but really preparing yourself, reading books, listening to information that's positive, high vibration, music that's really good, and that really helps you to come with a really good mindset.
So would you say you should go in without expectations or with expectations? Because obviously you do have a goal that you want to maybe reach. So what's the best way?
I think it's a trap. The whole thing is a trap, because to not have expectations is to have expectations. So it's a trap. I feel to step in there knowing that the unknown is nothing to know, And then, so in your breath, you've got humility. In your breath, you have patience. In your breath, you have trust because you're there, you paid, whatever, you prepared, you did all of that. So you don't walk in the building and then try to figure out whether or not you're supposed to be there, or be so scared to the point, right? Something brought you there, so you trust that. And um, then you kind of like just have to show up for the grow up. The point is that we're growing, and so some part of you needs to grow is why you're there, and you got to trust that. And there's simple things, simple, really powerful things that you can learn way before even drinking the medicine about yourself if you're really paying attention, because those things you will take into ceremony. um, so it's kind of like that. Ceremony is being able to pay attention to the freaking rice grains, not the big gigantic thing in the sky or the sacred geometry, or you know what I mean, things that you still can't even understand.
Okay. And so let us know, please, how did you get into this? How did you get into plant medicine? What was your interest? Were you guided? What happened?
I spent a lot of time with the Native American church, and like I had lots of like emotional stuff when I was younger, dysfunctional family kind of energy, and then I had like health issues, and so depression. So I was not really in the best place, and so working with Native American church really helped a lot and brought more vitality to my life. And through working with them, different medicine men and women from South America would travel through those communities, and you get to like every now and then sit in some of those ceremonies, those the other ceremonies, and so before I went to Peru, I started drinking ayahuasca with Santo Daime Church in Brazil. So I was a member of the Santo Daime Church for about like 7 years acting. I'm still 9 years as a member, but like about, I would say, 6 years acting member, meaning that you're going to a lot of the services and things like that. And it's ayahuasca church, or ayahuasca, like a Sunday school for ayahuasca. You can put it that way. And
Oh, okay.
well, yeah, it's like shirt and tie and a songbook, and you sit in a chair, and you've got your maraca, your rattle, and you and you sing, and it's very uniform. But what it teaches you is how to hold the medicine, hold yourself and the medicine. So the point is that everyone in that room is doing their best to do that, so it doesn't shake the energy in the room, and it creates instant harmony. And so that harmony, the energy of harmony, just sweeps through the room and helps to heal people's things. And so it's what really strengthened that part of me that's able to do that in ceremony, to return, bring things back to harmony. And so that really helped. And then I had done a ceremony, a beauty ceremony for my life, and I think it was like the day or two after the ceremony, someone told me I should go see these grandmothers in Peru, and I went to Iquitos, and yeah, I went there, and I kind of got sick, or I was getting well, so I had to disintegrate to fully integrate, if you can get that right. So and then um, yeah, it wasn't that I was, hey, I am. It was I was in service constantly. You know what I mean? Like my work with my teachers didn't start with them coming and saying, hey, you're the one, we're going to teach you, or anything like that. I was washing their clothes, I was cooking their food, I was cleaning their house, I was picking every single possible like herb with them, or at 6 a.m. in the morning. I was in service all the time.
Mm.
And so that was a very strong, important aspect of learning anything in this work, of knowing how to, no matter what, keep going. Because they would have me doing everything. You know what I mean? I would have to leave the friggin' jungle to go and get phone cards for them, for their phones. You know what I mean? Or go and pick up like a Dr. Pepper, because, you know what I mean? I'd be like, okay, I shall be back. See you in a little while. You know what I mean? It would take a while to go out. You know, you've got to like walk for an hour, then you've got to take a boat, and then you got to take a taxi thing, then you got to reverse that thing, you know. And but the point is, you just did it. You did it with gratitude. You did it, you know. And so, not many people understand that the thing is about service. It's not about the whole power of the medicine, and then you get lost with ayahuasca and you forget about being a human being. So that's how I started. I started by being in service to my teachers.
Okay, and then what makes you a shaman? At what point can you say I am a shaman, or people tell you you are a shaman? How's the process?
I think if you ever say that to yourself, you're not. And then two, that's a word that is really part of the Western, say, for lack of a better phrase, fuckology, things that are spiritual. Because, you know, from the Carlos Castaneda days when, you know, the shaman's way and all of these different things, is a word stolen from a different place that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. So, you know, I say that just to clarify that we don't even use the word shaman, because it's just a different thing. And even the Shipibo women and the people in Peru, just because like everyone from the West were calling them shamans, they in their association in Peru, they gave themselves a different name just to separate themselves from the word shaman. And the word is onanya, right? And so they're recognized as ancestral healers, healers of the vine or through the vine, the ancestral vine of life and things like that, right? So it's a I say that because it's like, you know, back in the days, you remember when the word really jumped on the scene, and then suddenly there was shamanistic yoga, shamanistic basketball, shamanistic pizza, shamanistic, everything had the word shaman in front of it to give it power. But that's how, do you know what I mean, appropriated the word became, and it was used in such a way that, you know, it doesn't mean anything. It's supposed to mean something, but it really doesn't.
Okay, and since you were talking about the perspective of the Western world and all the spirituality and the psychology that's going on right now, compared to your standpoint where you are right now, and what would you say differentiates a real onanya?
Hmm.
What's the word?
Onanya.
Onanya. Yeah. What differentiates someone that is like that, and then like a Westerner calling himself shaman or whatever?
Um, Again, the first thing that Westerner would run around calling themselves this, right? The name is a calling card or like a place card or like name dropping, right? You know, I am this. And all that it's supposed to associate is supposed to be accepted, because most people, especially in the West, don't really think fully down the understanding of the line of what it is that person is talking about. They just have that Carlos Castaneda, the shamanistic, mysterious guy, healer guy. So it's kind of very like basic and broad, but like at the same time, it doesn't really say a lot. So, you know what I mean? It's like vacuum cleaner salesman or like pizza man. It could be any kind of pizza, right? But the point is that um, that person too, most of the times, haven't done any kind of intense training at all. You know, it came from just their desire to, or you say like, I came there to heal emotional problems. I do two ceremonies. By the second ceremony, I'm telling you that the medicine told me that I am supposed to come to heal the earth and heal people, and I'm supposed to bring the medicine to the people and learn. You know what I mean? But what about the things that you're supposed to heal? Not only those things, but all the other things, because that wasn't only it, it was a whole bunch of other things. So that person who's now calling themselves a shaman is still that same person we're talking about, right? It's the same person. Now, anyone can serve another person a cup of medicine, but when the excuse my French, shit hits the fan, and you actually have to really take care of a person, that's something else. If something goes wrong with a person, that's something else. Do you know what I mean? It's people's lives that you're dealing with. That's something else, you know. It's like a moral thing about whether or not you really want to be responsible if someone lies and comes and they're taking medication. And do you know what I mean? A father with 4 kids who really needs help and lies because he just believes ayahuasca is going to help him. And you know what I mean? That story and all the other possible stories that they're not thinking about. Why? Because the medicine told them something, something, something. But that's not the truth. The medicine would never tell you anything like that, ever. Especially when the medicine knows you came there for your healing, not for instructions on where to go and who to be. That was already happening before you drank the medicine. So it can't be this new thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? So
Gotcha. Yeah.
it's a huge difference between that. So the other person has done some work, has done lots of work, has trained, has had multiple either teachers, multiple ceremonies. They've like studied the plants themselves, right? You know, lots of the people that you meet who are shamans, it's like just because you can sing songs doesn't mean that you're a shaman. Do you know what I mean? Shaman doesn't, you know, being a shaman doesn't mean you're singing, doesn't mean singing. You know what I mean? It's like, so they go to ceremony and they mix, they get all lost in the thing because you're only coming from what you see. And then they go and they replicate what it is that's in front of them when they're there at a ceremony to, you know, just to be able to, it's like Avatar. You know, you create a form outside of you, but it's not really you. You know, at the end of the day, everything is being used for a purpose. So that's why I kind of stay in my lane, and it's not for me to tell anyone what they should do or not. I just think that people should really be careful.
Okay. So when was the moment that you were like, okay, I'm ready to lead a ceremony actually, rather than assisting or whatever? How did that come about for you?
Um, there was a time when I was in the Santa Diamond Church. A friend of mine, actually a couple of friends of mine, we would get together and do like, say like group studies. So this is like outside of going to the Santa Diamond ceremonies. We would do group studies. We'd drink a little medicine and sing, practice some of the songs. And so, um, I remember just really singing with all my heart and like remembering feeling myself like transforming my own energy with my own voice and transforming my own energy by just being true to the song because I felt like it was being true to the song, not just singing it, but you know, having an emotional connection to it. And so that moment brought me more to the energy of sharing that group dynamic energy. And so I remember going when I was back in Peru, I spoke to my teachers and we were in a ceremony together with a group is at a center where they you know they'd have groups come for 11-day retreats and so she, first time in like years, she asked me to sing in the ceremony with her. And then after that ceremony, um, she pat me on the back and said in her language that the medicine is inside of you. And so it's kind of like without drinking the medicine because I didn't drink the medicine that night. I just sat there and sang with them. So it was kind of like you know I was the grander teacher, and that you just have to come from you to know that the medicine is in you. And so um, I would say that would be the moment, and there were many echoes of that. It's like it's not like an egoic thing again, saying I'm the one or I'm this thing and I'm a shaman or whatever. There's so many different levels to a thing. So you understand now you're on a path of growth. So you grow now. You're not anything. You're a tool, and you do yourself to be a good tool and grow.
Would you say that then the medicine had, or your subconscious had accepted the medicine, so to say? Because we have our subconscious, obviously it's memorizing and everything. Would you say it has completely, you have accepted it, or it has accepted you, or anything like that?
I would say it remembered.
Okay. It remembered without you actually having the medicine in you,
So, but it just remembered.
Well, no, I would say the first time I drank the medicine, my body and my subconscious remembered that I'm also made of that.
Okay, gotcha.
Right? Everything that's in the medicine was already in us before we drank it. So when you drink it, you're drinking something that's already inside of you.
Gotcha. Okay, okay, I got it. And then you were mentioning music and sounds and rattles. How does that add to the whole ceremony? And how does that add to, does it make you feel more at ease? What is that doing to people and to their brains when you use this during a ceremony?
Many things like well, sound carries frequency, life, all of life um, lives on multiple frequencies. Life is made out of frequencies. And so harmony, the frequency of harmony, um, sound, rattles, drums, guitars, different types of instruments help to create energy of harmony, frequencies of harmony. Also helps to create an energetic drone for relaxation. Is the different practices, different somatic practices where they would just take a drum and beat it constantly, just one steady rhythm for like a half hour, 45 minutes, and you would go into trance um, because your body receives, so your body becomes a sponge when it comes to frequency and sound. So it helps to become a vehicle for the person's journey and for different parts of their healing.
Okay, got it. And now maybe Angela, have you done ceremonies?
Yes.
Can you tell us maybe what has the medicine told you, or what was already inside you that you have rediscovered or discovered after a ceremony?
Well, I mean a lot, but for me, a lot of the work has been going into a ceremony, and there's a lot of things that can take place within a ceremony, energetically, mentally, emotionally, a lot of releasing that happens. And I would say actually that a lot of my work has come after the ceremony. It's actually been from leaving the space and knowing that something has happened within that ceremony and feeling it, not really being able to fully make sense of it in my mind as to what that thing was. But then integrating it into my life and learning how to kind of play with these new energies or these new things that have woken up inside of me, and then begin to shift and utilize them in my everyday life. And so for me, these ceremonies have helped me to reconnect back with myself, with the truth of myself. I mean, I've left ceremonies before and kind of realized, oh, wow, you know, this thing or this pattern or this habit or this way of life that I was living in was not authentic. It wasn't actually me.
Can you give us an example?
Just like conditioning, like certain conditioning that I've gone through within my life, within my family, whether it be like a religious background or even just a way that I was treated. Like my mother treated me with this certain energy and this certain emotional way, let's say aggressively. And then to come into the awareness of that and to realize, okay, I've taken on these energies or these ways of dealing with my life and dealing with myself and also dealing with the people around me. And so then bringing that into awareness and then actually realizing that I don't have to be that way or act that way, and that it's not actually authentic with who I am. And then applying that into my everyday life. So I would say the biggest thing that I've gained from these ceremonies is just getting to know myself and what that really is for me, who I really am to me, and yeah, and growing within that, because there's a lot of power within being myself and within being my authentic self, because I'm being true to who I am, and that feels good. And so I get to feel good within myself. I get to feel good within my life rather than living my life based off of what everyone else has been telling me I'm supposed to be my whole life.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. And so, Colin, who would you recommend plant medicine for? Like, is there anything that plant medicine cannot cure, or can it cure everything? Are there people who you would not recommend it to? Yeah.
I would say first that plant medicine is not a cure. We're the cure. Plant medicine is an aid. It's a guide, and it's like you can give a map to $1 million to a person, and the map says it's 3 steps, and it could take them 10 years to get there because they may not know how to read a map. So there's that part where some people will go to plant medicine but still not really get it. It's not for everyone. There are people who are supposed to stay, aka within the matrix, within the system, to basically keep the system going. This is life and it's real. Um, this is not about saving everyone, and this is not about saving the world. This is about the people who are called, say, to step out of the box for their own lives, say, because for them, they may see and feel that there's more to life than where they are. Say, not just as far as what to do, but what's inside within them. And that may be triggered by lots of pain, lots of suffering, lots of, a death or whatever it is, and, that random moment they hear someone talk about it, that random moment they see it on the TV, the random moment they hear it on the radio, the random moment they see it in a magazine. See, that's a call, right? Because as soon as they start reading it or investigating it more, they're already on their way to it some point, but they're already on their way. So, say in the spiritual realm, the spiritual way, say the energy of that medicine is going out also to those who really need it. A lot of people will show up, but those people who really need it also will show up too. And I've seen them, I've met them, both of them, the ones who just show up and the ones who really need it. Right? I've met them, and there's a huge difference, a huge, huge difference. So I would say, and I tell people too who come to ceremony, right after ceremony, most people think, oh, I know about 10 people who need this. And it's like, but you came for you. Why are you even going there? Like, focus on yourself, like, pay attention to yourself. Don't like go into like trying to save the world. No one, you save yourself. Don't need to save the world, save yourself.
And so, if this is beneficial to a lot of people, why do a lot of governments in this world make it illegal or call it drugs even?
Well, they're scared. Two, the psyche of the average human being nowadays, based on many things, many variables, can be slightly volatile. Then, based on nowadays statistics with the amount of people on multiple medications, right? This plant medicine is very dangerous to people on medication. Although people nowadays order this thing online and you can and get it mailed to themselves, it can be very dangerous if like not properly used or given to someone without checking proper information, right? Without, if you're just like, hey, I got some ayahuasca, man, let's drink it, and that person's taking 4 medications, a lot of damage can be done. It's not necessarily just trying to like stop spiritual freedom, but at the end of the day, um, there isn't enough research done beyond the healing aspect of the medicine. Say the long term overall psychosis of people who are affected by this medicine. Say we were just talking about those people, right? We were just talking about them, the ones who kind of like fall into a spiritual delusion about spirituality and forget about their lives. So that part's really important too, because some of them might have families, and you know what I mean. It can go down the drain because now you're a shaman and your family is trying to figure out, how come you're not paying rent because you're, it's life. So I think um, because of many institutions, much more research being done, it's getting closer where they're going to have to legalize a lot of these things in But like, again, they're still going to kind of hold it in like clinical research and all, it's going to keep coming and becoming more accessible, right? People are still screaming about da, 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 there's lots of people still screaming about government holding this things down, and whilst there's like ayahuasca ceremonies happening all over the country, right?
Yes.
So, go take care of your life and get off the line with the freaking picket thing in your hand and go take care of your life. Stop being an activist upon yourself.
Because alcohol is legal, we can all drink as much as we want, but then plant medicine, which can actually heal you, is not.
Yes, and here's the thing: you said the key word we. We have been so disassociated with we. So we is like separated into a bunch of I's, right? And so, like I said, there are plant medicine ceremonies happening all over the country, all over the world. If you want to go heal yourself, stop talking about the government holding things back. Go find a place and go do it. That's why there's some people who will just talk, and there's some people who will go do it. Most of the people who talk about the government holding back, they have never tried any of those medications and medicines, and they won't. Why? Because they're scared. They would rather just be the one who's talking. So, none of it makes sense at the end of the day with the purpose of what they're talking about and it happening whether they talk or not. It's been happening anyway. So it's just a bunch of noise after a while. It's good because at least it's raising awareness, but it's still a bunch of noise. People are going to do ceremony and it's happening. It's still happening. Like right now, there's a ceremony. Whilst there are people talking about what the government's doing.
So with your ceremonies, then, do you ever feel like, oh, police is coming and gonna get you or something? Like, is there ever that fear ever, or not at all?
No, you wouldn't really want to. You understand it's real, but you understand that you're held by so much more. So you don't invite those things. Like someone asked me one day, like, hey, do you get tired? And I said, oh, I haven't used that word in years. So it's all about what you think about, what you attract.
Exactly. And that again has to do also with the subconscious mind, right?
Yeah.
So for you, is there a ceremony that you really remember because it has been really profound? Let us know about your own experience.
Well, there's ceremonies where, so like, ceremonies about your life. If I had someone that was able to fund me to be able to do this work. So basically, I would, I don't know, let's say charge $50 per person for ceremony, and the $50 would go to like Girls and Boys Club or some organization. Myself and my staff gets paid, so their life is okay. And we would do this work for people. So basically, we would be doing this work for free. Um, the person who's funding would basically help to pay for what we need, but the point is that we would just do this work for free. And so that's like one of my bigger dreams, to be able to like just do this work without worrying about like charging and all of that stuff like that, so everyone is accessible for everyone. You've got to give something. Some people, their biggest thing to heal is their thought of lack. So this one woman, where she didn't have any money, first she said she was going to pay, and then she stalled for a while, and then the truth was she didn't have any money. This was like the day of ceremony. She called, oh, I'm so sorry, but I don't actually have any money, and I'm sorry, I lied, and then I was just like, oh my God, you know what I mean? So it was like so much going on. It was the day of ceremony, and like there was another call. I was like, hold on for a second. The person was like, it was just like a whirlwind. So I just took a breath. I said, hold on. And I just put the phone down for a second. I was like, what the hell? Took a breath, and then I got back on the phone, went to the woman. I was like, you know what? I want you to come. Just come for your life. Do you know what I mean? This is about your life. And, like I remember moments in my life when I didn't have anything, and someone said, of course you do. You have you. Come here. right? And so that's always been a stain in my heart. And so, boom, long story short, at the end of the ceremony, this woman is talking and sharing about her ceremony. She starts crying. And then she starts sharing that she's been beating her kids for the last like month, and how horrible she feels, and she understood why she was doing it, and she understands what she has to do. And this woman like called an intervention on herself with her family, and like, created the most, like, now they have the most amazing relationship. And I thought to myself, like, what if I would have been like, oh, you don't have the money, I'm sorry, you can't come, like there's a cost for this. And you know what I mean, there was at least a good 6 or 7 other people would have paid full price for the thing, but this woman, right? And so it was one of the most amazing ceremonies, because I understood one of the most important things about this work is people, not money, not having things, not being known, not names, not titles, not ayahuasca, not, you know what I mean, not all of the hoopla that goes along with all of this, just people, being able to hear a person, or be present to a person.
Absolutely. And then impacting other people's lives after the ceremony.
Yeah, because you just don't know.
Yeah.
You just got to show up. If you can show up for a person, you'll learn more.
And did you ever have a bad experience, or any of your clients that you can remember? Anything like that?
I would say no, but I would say that some clients had learning experiences, very challenging learning experiences, where they had to really learn about themselves, because that's what, ayahuasca is a very powerful mirror. So you're going to learn about you. And so, you got issues with control, then boom, you might go down the control train for a while, or the loss of control train for a while. So there are moments where it can be very challenging for a person, but it's a hospital.
And Angela, what about you? Did you ever have any challenging learning experiences?
Oh yeah. Yeah. But I feel like the challenges is what have kind of helped bring me into that place of growing, to be tested on my own ability to show up or step into strength and courage, and then later be able to apply that into my life. So I feel that's part of the journey is getting to be blessed with those challenges.
Do people usually see it that way, or are there ever people who are like, "Oh my God, you have destroyed my life. I'm depressed now. I'm this, I'm that." Like, has that ever happened?
Yes, yes, I have many people who, like I said, it's not for everyone. So you come and you get some really deep, real self-reflections, but you don't really want to see them. And you may be all about blame. So you forget, even though you were told that what you're coming to is a very powerful ceremony, it's also a catalyst to your life. Your life is going to shift. I tell you, many things are going to shift. I tell you, pay attention. But you're acting so spiritual, and you're so like, all about, the thing and the ceremony and the medicine. You forgot about you. And so lots of things happen to people, and they get really upset, and you know what I mean? They just don't understand, but they weren't really paying attention. There's only so much you can do for a person. Say, we're all adults, like, get your shit together, because you came here again to a hospital to help heal you. And, maybe you're spending too much time looking at me when you came here for you, spending too much time thinking about you, about something else other than your life or something like that. So people have a hard time at times really understanding what ceremony is about and what you're really doing. It's like you're drinking Miracle Grow and you're a tree. You can't get upset when the roots start growing a little faster, the branches start getting a little longer. Do you know what I mean? You can't. You have to understand what you've just done to yourself.
And can you tell us what chemically happens when there's different ways to consume a plant, obviously, right? So can you tell us what chemically is going on in your brain that is getting you into these altered states of minds, into your subconscious, maybe in your superconscious, or whatever you want to call it?
It's basically the release of dimethyltryptamine in your pineal gland, and once that happens, like literally the inner akashic records, the history of you, is revealed. The mirrors of you is revealed. The light and dark of you is revealed. Your inner stories, your inner truths, your inner everything is revealed. You get to see the stains, feel the memory of the roots of you. So it's basically the library opens. The library of you opens and you get to see that. So chemically, your neurons are firing off, and so the new pathways that are created from traumatic moments in life, and they're reinforced by the reinforcement of that trauma. Those things are also like communicated to, like those things cellularly are having a conversation with ayahuasca. There's a detoxification, there's uh, a cleaning, a stripping of the binders that have bound these neurons, right? Say, I'm no good, I'm no good, I'm no good. Boom, it binds to something. And now I'm no good is going on for 5 years. So it strips this binder. So, eventually this moves during the ceremony, and you're taking a deep breath going, I am good, 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 I am good. Boom, that new binder connects and starts to be sealed by a new energy. So like chemically, or in our brains, it's a rewiring, it's a recircuiting, rewiring of the circuits, that we've created, telling us the story of ourselves. Do you know what I mean? And then also the ones that were created from what we have done by telling us the story of ourselves to ourselves. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's an inner washing machine.
Gotcha. Thank you so much for explaining that. That was really great. So, can you tell us a little bit about the different ceremonies that you offer, with which plants and what the difference is?
Well, we'll say definitely, the grandmother medicine ayahuasca is the main plant that I work with. I also work with the Wachuma, which is the San Pedro. Um, I also work with Hape, Sananga, Bachetti, Cambo, and so without going over every single one of them, these are all medicines that basically help to heal the body different ways, the eyes, different aspects of your energetic bodies, and also within. And each one of these medicines, again, its intention is to bring you back to you. Say there's nowhere to go, nothing to do, right? And um, other medicines, other different plants that we use for dieting, and also we use we call everything medicine. So like yoga is medicine, breath work is medicine. It's creating, recreating the language about what it is you're doing and what it is, why you're doing it. That helps to even empower all of it. So it's being able to like reshift the idea of ritual and medicine to people, like what it is, like people are thinking about mushrooms and all these different things, but water is a very powerful medicine. And to be able to look at it that way, you'll be able to honor so much more, because some of these things that people take, they don't really honor. And that's also an important thing, learn to honor those medicines. So um, those medicines are the ones that as far as facilitate for people, those medicines. And there are other medicines that I do facilitate, but I don't really talk about. That's me
Okay,
being mysteriously shamanic.
I respect that.
I'm just kidding.
So, there is a lot of people saying that, plant medicine is as powerful as years of therapy. Why is that, would you say?
Well, because it's true to a certain degree. Years of therapy could bring you to a place. Plant medicines with less amount of time could still also bring you to a place. But the same thing as years of therapy or plant medicine, you have to be the rest of the place. You have to be the 50%. So you could do years of therapy and it'll take years for you to make two steps. You could do plant medicine, and you'll get years in 2 steps, but still you have to do the other 2 steps to like make it work. You have to do something. So, it's, yeah, it's true on so many, and again, it's not for everyone that'll be the case. There's some people who are married to their dramas, married to their like things like that. So that's why it took them years of therapy to get over one story. Why would it take you years to get over one story?
Absolutely. And so, do you believe that we create reality with our thoughts? And let's say something bad happened in our past, like for example, a rape. Let's take like the worst example. If that's the case, that we're creating reality with our thoughts, are we responsible for all the bad things that are happening in our lives too?
I mean, from my own experience, I would definitely say that as I've come into more awareness of myself, more awareness of my thoughts, more awareness of my actions, that I am definitely 100% responsible for the things that are coming into my own life. And now, say things that happened to me when I was younger. I mean, I don't know. I feel like through the work that I've done, there's a lot of stuff kind of stored in the subconscious, things that maybe we have been creating or that I was creating on a subconscious level that I wasn't fully aware of. And those things, even in the subconscious, they still, are attracting and putting out this vibration and putting out this energy that is being attracted back. And so as I've gone through this process of clearing the subconscious or clearing these patterns, these habits, these things, not just from me, but also from things that have been passed down, even ancestrally within my own family, within my own family line. And as those things do clear, it's like coming back into this awareness that, oh, okay, I have created these things. And now I get to create a new story. I get to create a new path, a new way of life, a new way of looking at life, and then begin to open up new doorways and new experiences. I mean, I've watched a lot of things transform through coming into this awareness of my thoughts. I mean, I grew up in a family, that was very poor. We grew up in a trailer park. I grew up with a lot of brothers and sisters, and the story was for a long time that was my life. And then that was going to be my life because that's how I grew up. Those were the thoughts that were going on. Those were the people that I was surrounded by. However, as I have come and I've moved outside of that box that I was living in and expanded my life into new awareness, new types of people. I've been able to travel the world and go to Thailand, go to India, all the way here now to Atlanta, across this country, and so many places. And it's like every place and every experience that I've had has opened me up, has opened my mind up, and has given me new possibilities of realizing, that anything is possible, and that I am creating this because I believe it and because I think it. And so, yeah.
And I think like what I've learned is that, when we talk about our mental process and how we think and what we do, sometimes we can't, not sometimes, we can't put aside the mass conditioning that has been brought upon us by just society and life. So like our thoughts are not only our thoughts. You got a whole bunch of thoughts from television, movies, the magazines, high school, college, everything being part of the movie of you. And you're making your choices based on some of these things. And you may not even fully be aware of why you're making half the choices you're making because they're coming from emotional stimulus, not from like an actual mental process. You know what I mean? They're coming from like, being cool or, from pride or shame or, do you know what I mean? So those things are also really important. So um, they will kind of like be part of your life. So it's understanding, like I stopped watching television a long time ago, and once I did that, magazines, all of that stopped. I was like, holy cow, like I realized like there's an engine, there's an escalator, there's a moving walkway that everyone is on of energy that's keeping you caught up with all of the drama that's happening in life, keeping you connected to it. So you're constantly triggered, constantly in a state of, waiting for something to happen. You're constantly protecting yourself. You're constantly in some kind of state of emergency within yourself about something. You're thinking about something, someone got shot, children died, all these things. And those things are happening all over the world every single day, but we just don't know it. While during your vacation, while during your birthday, celebrating your birthday, there are kids being slaughtered right there in some country. I mean, it's not your concern, but that's the truth.
How do you come to peace with that truth?
Being the best that you could be, say, being an example of the love and the peace and all the things that you're telling people that they should do, like being an example of that, being a better person, like having more of an effect on the earth, so you have an effect on people around you. So if your surroundings full of really good people, then you're good. Unless you want to spend your energy and time staring at all the bad things of the world, then your world will be bad. But if your world around you is good, when you're creating, then your world will be good. And even though there are bad things in the world, you are creating a good world for you. And that's the most important thing. So the reflection of your world upon the world will be good, right? You're putting your inner good world onto the world. That's how you actually create a good world, not by doing things, by doing the most important things, by taking care of yourself.
Exactly. So would you say with that that you are happy and that you have created this good world for yourself?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, my good world is real. It's a real world. It's filled with real things and real life and real happiness, because it's not a happiness that I try to get. It's just present happiness about life. And there's so many things to be happy that no matter what happens, I could shift right back into just a present happiness that's always moving in me. So again, it's nothing I'm ever going after. I stopped doing that a long time ago. So like, yeah, like, and that's because, one of the things that the medicine teaches you is just to really, chill the F out and get over yourself enough to find you, you know, get over yourself enough to figure out what that means, like the layers that have been upon you, created upon you, through all the other aspects of your life that you probably didn't work on.
And if somebody is curious about plant medicines or plant ceremonies, where and how should they start?
Do your research. Like, not every video on YouTube is a good one, and not every article is a good one. I would say talk to someone who's had a good experience, or look online for good experiences, because that's what you're looking for. You're not looking for a bad experience. You're looking for a good experience. So look for a good experience and check it out. And if you go to look for bad experiences, it's only because you're bringing fear into your journey, and you just need to like stop there, stop and reset yourself. You don't talk about what you don't want, and you don't bring it in. That's the first lesson in ceremony. So that's what I mean. As soon as you start thinking about it, the freaking ceremony starts. And so you would do that. You would talk to someone, you would get some research, you would look up a center, depends on how prepared you are financially, time wise, everything like that. You again get enough information to go to a safe place. And then, prior to that, have an actual reason beyond just wanting to do it. And if you do, then go do it. And if you get something out of it, great. Then do something with it and respect it. If not, then go on with your life, but still respect it, because it's just not your road of life. And then that's just what that is.
Anything you have to add, Angela? Do you have done a few ceremonies as well?
Will you repeat the question again? So I can come back to it.
I just said, do you have anything to add since you have done a few ceremonies as well?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I would say if it's something that an individual is really feeling called to, you know, from that space within their heart, and they have a reasoning behind it, to go for it. And also, once that kind of starts opening up, my experience has been that the people and those experiences have kind of found me. I didn't really have to go out and search for them or look for them. I just started calling them in and opening myself up to those possibilities, and then being open to receive those opportunities when they were presented to me, so that I could, you know, begin on this path.
Yeah, and it's brave. It's a movement of bravery just for some people to even decide to do it. You know what I mean? For some people, it's the most courageous thing that they will ever do in their life. And you know, you might be in your 40s or whatever, and you're like, your kids are gone, and you're like, I gotta do something to shake things up, to bring me back to me, So those things happen to some people. It's not always a person who is, going through some like major trauma or things like that, or some like life-threatening illness or something like that. There's some people who just really needs, they're looking for their spirit to a little reboot. Do you know what I mean? Just to like shine their crystals again, so they can see life in a really good energy again, wipe away some of the stains from trauma and get back on it, get back to the show.
Okay. And then there's one last question I have. So, an ego death. Do you believe that the ego ever dies if it's just for like a few moments, maybe? Does that happen during plant ceremonies, maybe?
It's a term coined for the sake of the loss of identity, and the death of the I. But many people, they've turned it into kind of meme thing, if you understand what I mean, where it's very, and even the whole concept of getting rid of the ego is a bunch of nonsense. Because you need the ego. The ego is your cunningness. You need the ego is that thing that like helps you seize the door open a little. You're like, oh, that door is open. Let's go through that door. Or there's a cut in the line. You're like, there's that. Let's get that. Or do you know what I mean? You see $10 on the street and you see it and you're just like, okay, and you're like, it's across the street and some other people could like see it, and so now a part of you is just like gonna find a way to get across that street. You know what I mean? So there's this part of you that like also protects you in a really powerful way too. So it's never to really get rid of anything, it's to come to harmony with things, is to not starve them of energy, is to not like look at your shadow self as some evil thing. So we've been trained to try to get rid of things, to like, so even ailments of the body, there's some medications to stop it, to just stop it, to just stop it. But why do you just want to stop it instead of find out why it's even there? Why do you just want to keep closing the door and things without actually understanding why it's there? So that's a bigger conditioning that, the Western world has too, where, whatever it is, we'll get rid of it so you can get right back to your life. But that thing is your life. What's happening right now is your life. So, the ego death is to a certain degree for some people, has lost its actual meaning, because the death of the ego is where you come back to source and you remember that you're part of the whole, and you go into a life that is connected to life, and you're feeling part of that and you're in service to that, and but I know lots of people who have had supposed ego deaths and they're still in their ego. Oh my God, I had an ego death. It was like, yep, that happened to me too. I had an ego death. Yeah, we had an ego death at the ceremony. Yep, that's what they said. It was like, I just shattered, and I just, okay. Do you know what I mean? I don't get that at all, So, to a certain degree, there's a spiritual esoteric machine, the BS machine, right? That basically spews out a whole bunch of words and sentences and phrases that you can take. So like, let's say there's 150 words, and there's there's an actual site called the bsgenerator.com, I think. I will send you the link. It's so basically it's about like 150 words. It's like a whole bunch of spiritual words, right? So you're walking, your light has found the path to the way where you will find your oneness, centered upon the bridge of your knowingness. Within this, you too will also find the rainbow crystal light that is connected to the union of you and the oneness that is all, connected to the source that is divine presence that is manifested within your beauty way walk and talk for you to own with the majesty of the light. So
I think I
boom.
just used those.
So boom, but here we go. So then you press a button and it takes all those words and it scrambles it, and then you have another powerful sentence, another powerful paragraph. You can press this button at least 300 times or more, and every time it regenerates is a whole bunch of more BS. But for the person that's really generating on that energy, that that uplifting word energy thing that really is not saying a damn thing, you're just gonna keep saying, wow. If I say at least 4 of those things to you, I press it 4 times and say it to you, I could probably have you follow me. I could probably have you empty your bank account because you're going to be like, yes, yes, it's so true. Yes. You just have me smiling all along, all the time. Everything you say hits my spirit. Everything you say hits, and I'm not saying a damn thing. Right. So you want to talk about ego? There's ego in action right there. Right. There's ego in action right there on both sides of the coin, because you're not even really listening. Egoically, you're just looking for anything that has this brightness of energy, Rich, that makes your ego feel good. Your ego is the thing that just desires something. So you're desiring a good spiritual feeling. You're not really desiring some real healing. You want something to make you say amen and give you goosebumps. You want what everyone talks about. You're not really looking at you yet. So that's what I mean. Like, as far as the ego death, like, at the end of the day, it can be a very placebo kind of energy that really has nothing to do with really doing any healing, but just losing you for a moment to realize there's a we, but you forget that really quick because your I is so powerful.
Thank you for that. That was a really great explanation. I loved it. Do you have any other thoughts that you want to share today with the audience?
For me, this work has really changed a lot of things for me. And so for me, it's like, I don't know, this has become my life. And yeah, anyone who's looking for real stuff, like real them, real healing, real understanding of themselves, that's kind of what it has done for me, and opened up those doors and those opportunities. And it still is happening, it's still unfolding, and yeah, I'm grateful. I don't know what else to say other than it's brought a lot of gratitude, a lot of self-understanding, and a lot of magic within me back to life.
I say that for anyone who is desiring to, or interested in plant medicines, yeah, to realize that everything is going back to something. We're all shedding, we're going back, we're returning. Like right now, your skin is falling off of you, and so you're going back. So, where do you really want to go when you do these things? What are you actually really trying to do? What are you really trying to achieve? You can do a lot of really great things. You can excel your life in a really beautiful way if you're ready to do that by coming to these medicines. You can really strengthen yourself and fortify yourself to have a really good life by coming to these medicines, but you have to be ready to have a good life. It won't come and do it for you. Nothing will do anything for you. Again, you have to be the most important percentage of the work that is going to be done, because it's a plant. It's a plant, it's a powerful plant, but you're a powerful being. So you gotta, you know what I mean? You gotta do the math, no matter what you hear about whatever, you're the powerful one, you're the medicine. So, do that. Make sure that you get back to that part, no matter what you take, no matter what medicines you use, that you're the powerful being. That's why the thing is planted in the ground and you can pick it. You can pick this powerful thing. So who's the powerful thing? Do you know what I mean? Really grounding into that. And yeah, for everyone to just really, don't take this life thing so seriously, man. Like, and don't take the spiritual thing so seriously. Don't try to be anything. You're already something really amazing. We're already amazing beings. Just being yourself, just human life form. It's one of the most amazing, powerful factory of chemicals ever created. The vessels, like an amazing astonishment, like feat of creation, like amazing. And so, like, white robes and fancy jewelry and feathers and all those things, like, none of that really makes you, you know what I mean? So, realize that you're the most important accessory to the power. Anything else you have is just, something else, it's part of the thing, but, you've got to be you without anything to actually really be something.
I do have one more question. It's about past lives. Do you believe in past lives and future lives?
What I do believe that there are multiple levels to this reality. So even the concept of past life and future life is blurred in the reality of what else is going on. There are probably millions of versions of this situation right now happening right now in different spaces of time and reality. The same thing. In one of them, you're drinking something else, and you look a different way, and we look a different way. And to say that is to say, why not? To say that there are multiple versions of a thing, as many leaves as there are on trees. And so I think it's all really possible. Does it matter to me? Not necessarily. It depends. But like, that's the most important thing about like spiritual information. Make sure that it matters to you. You know what I mean? Like, it really matters to you, because if it doesn't, learning certain things doesn't really help you at all. Do you know what I mean? You're just chasing things just for the sake of knowledge, spiritual knowledge, but it doesn't really help you. So, you know what I mean? It's like someone goes, like, oh, we got to find out where the Pleiades are. It's like, okay, and then what? You know what I mean? Take care of your children, or take care of your dog, or something like that,
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate having you guys on this podcast. Thank you really a lot for sharing your wisdom, for sharing your time.
Awesome. Yeah, we are really grateful to be on your podcast. And yeah, come down to Atlanta, Georgia. You're invited.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Your listeners are going to start asking, when is the retreat to Atlanta, Georgia from Germany?
Oh yeah, I will. I come. I don't know when, but I'll make it happen eventually.
Oh yeah, they'll force you now. Now that they just heard me say that. I just kind of.
Doesn't matter if they force me. The plants have to force me, and then I'm good.
I know. But once you start having dreams after this podcast,
I'll let you know.
I'm gonna be waiting for the text.
Love this episode of Mind Your Subconscious? Subscribe, rate, and leave a review on whichever platform you're listening. It's very much appreciated. Thank you so much. Catch our next episode every Monday.